Hey, I just finished making the video, but I just wanted to say, if you have any questions about this kit, the video is to come, but just leave it some comments or message me and I'll answer any questions you have about anything.
Hey, this is D Zarin. I just wanted to make a not so quick video about my drum kit. Um, this is um, this is a maple kit made by Obelisk. It's an 8-piece, I think. Yep. And as you can see, I have it set up a little funky. This is where the throne would go. You can see the marks from the legs there. And
So this kit is symmetrical, so it has no right or left hand bias. It actually does have a very slight right hand bias, but that's just the nature of drums.
it's like they get bigger.
So let me go in a bit closer. So if you look at the right side here, what I've got is actually a full 5-piece standard kit. So what's happening here is there's a bass drum, there's your 3 toms and the snare, and there's your hi-hat right there. And that's this pedal right here. So this pedal controls that hi-hat right there to the right. So you're playing open-handed but still right-handed. We got the crash, China, and of course the ride cymbal. And then we've got the cowbell. So there's like a fully equipped standard 5-piece kit right there. And if I come to the other side here, we're looking at exactly a mirror image. We've got the 3 toms, the snare, and then we've got the bass drum. Like, you know, the bass drum would be in there, right? So we got the bass drum, and there's the hi-hat. This hi-hat controlled by my right foot, right there. So that one activates this guy. We got the ride, China, and of course we got the crash. The shared instruments on this kit is a central auxiliary hi-hat and this snare drum here. Yeah, I forgot to mention there's also a cowbell on this left-hand side. Like I tend not to think of the bass drum as shared because they each have their own respective pedal and there's never any crosstalk, but you know, either hand can strike, you know, the snare. Well, either hand can strike anything, but I mean, really it's only the snare drum and this auxiliary hat, which is sort of the focal point of the kit. Everything else is exactly symmetrical in terms of you know, function, drum function. So, you know, of course, everyone knows Mike Mangini does this, but the first person to actually really take this idea seriously was this guy named Gary Chester. And he wrote a book called New Breed, which goes all into this. And I don't know if this has anything to do with it. I'm sort of having an epiphany now, but when I was going through New Breed as a young drummer, when I was first learning the drums, my teacher, Nathan Wiley, wanted to show me New Breed by Gary Chester. And I don't know if that sparked it, but I've had a absolute obsession with symmetry over the past few years. And Gary Chester, the book for me was a long time ago, so I don't know if it's because of that really. But I've had an obsession with symmetry for a long time. I feel we're bilaterally symmetric organisms, you know. We got to pay tribute to that. Do you know any instrument which has no right or left hand bias? No, it's really only percussion. Guitar has a left or right hand bias. Bass, of course. Piano, the high notes are on the right. And then imagine if you have a percussive instrument, let's say a snare drum. It shows absolutely no left or right hand bias. And that's the beauty of drums. I'm attracted to drums because of that. And look at this. I'm sitting right there. Everything's got access. I can play anything, whether it be right-handed, left-handed, a mixture of both, whatever, open-handed, left-handed, whatever. Really anything. And I've got access to a full kit on either side, but it's not cluttered and everything's just perfectly within reach. And this is my kit. So I'm just gonna go over the equipment, I suppose. Craigslist is, well, maybe not yours, but my best friend. I've never sold anything on Craigslist for less than or equal to what I bought it for. So I usually make money on the things I buy. And of course I collect hardware that essentially comes for free. And that's how I can build this massive monster. I buy kits, take everything that I want from them, whether it be hardware, cymbals, even drums, whatever, sell off the rest for, I'll inflate the price, maybe $150, and someone takes it, and I get free hardware, free cymbals, beautiful drums, and it's not a big deal because it's free. I do have to work for it, of course. You got to scout out Craigslist. But look at this. Let me show you something here. Copper pipe with $5 Mapex, some sort of tom mount thing, but this is 7/8 inch. This tom mount was 7/8 inch. Perfect. Now I can mount my tom. Here's like the bottom of a half of a cymbal stand. Here's like the top of it. So there's, the other bit. And all this hardware, I'm not really paying for it, really. It's just coming along for the ride. So what I've got here is Remo heads on pretty much everything, actually. So we've got black suede emperors on top. We have, of course, the CS dot controlled sound, so the ambassador weight control sound. On the bottom of all the toms, it's clear ambassadors. Under this guy is, it's ambassador weight, but it's a marching version. For a reason I won't go into. It has to do with these hoops. But both LP cowbells, surprisingly the chrome one is actually called the Black Beauty, and this one is, I believe, a rock cowbell. That's the chrome edition Black Beauty. Bass drum has a black suede Power Stroke 3. And the front of the bass drum right now has an Evans EMAD, I think, actually. No hole. So let's see, we've got the snare drum, which is, I think it's a 14 by 5.5. That's what it is. This is an 8 by 8, 10 by 10, 12 by 12, 13 by 13, 16 by 16, 18 by 18, and you guessed it, 20 by 20 bass drum. Quite the long guy. And there's that EMAT I was talking about. And here you can see the cables for the remote hats going around to the other side, crisscrossing. Yep, so we got the Pearl remote hi-hat, eliminator hi-hats, and Axis percussion pedals, of course, gotta be Axis. And yeah, a myriad of cymbals. We got here, this is one of the free ride cymbals I was mentioning. There's another free ride cymbal. I paid for those hats. This was a free crash, or not free, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm just grabbing it up off these kits. I paid for this hi-hat and this one. I think I paid like $50 for both, and those are nice hi-hats. $50 for both, 2 Zildjian pairs. Come on, you just gotta scout out. I don't know, I might have bought that, but these stands, I'm just taking them off random kits. I'm just grabbing up all the hardware that and sell it off at sell it just bare bones for the most highly inflated price. Well, no, okay, I'm kind of being a butt, but you know what I mean. Here's the kit from the other side. And look at this little setup. I mean, it's not ideal, to say the least. Like, we've got a cymbal stand going into some sort of grabber, going into some cowbell mount, into some auxiliary rack, and then onto a tom stand. And look at this guy. This hi-hat here. Oops, blocked the light. That's just some cymbal stand, the top of one. Most of this hardware is actually from probably the 1970s, and it's working fine for me. And yeah, this is an interesting kit for me. It's really fun to play because I really did spend quite a bit of time indeed, actually, learning how to play left-handed entirely. Not open-handed, but left-handed. Like, I could hop on a left-handed kit and play proficiently. I feel like I can do that now. And here I can just switch. It really is an artistic expression. I don't know, like it's fun, and like I've sort of accepted the fact that I feel like I won't be an amazing drummer because I feel like I have to do right hand and left hand stuff like equally well. But look at Mangini. What he's doing is impossible, and he's always saying like, yeah, you don't need the kit, and like blah blah blah, it's a big mess. But something he said struck me. He said, what did he say? He's like, imagine the day, something along the lines of like, imagine the day when I would be able to express myself on that instrument, on that symmetrical instrument. And it's amazing that you know, to be able to express yourself, and it opens up these doors that, you know, I never even fathomed. And I just play differently on this kit, and I absolutely love this kit. And just look at it. Oh my, I think it is very nice. We've got natural maple, 4 plies of maple. The shells are only 4 mils thick. Even the bass drum, they're in almost flawless condition. All the bearing edges are perfect. You know, just a Craigslist find. Look at this kit. And I can definitely say I've sold off enough stuff and made enough profit to pay for at least 90% of this here. Definitely. That's at least. I'm sure. I'm really sure it's much more. I mean, it's much more. You know, how awesome is this? Look at the scraggly piece of hardware. We just got cowbell tucked into a snare stand, and that's just clipped right there. Other side, we got the cowbell mounted. You know, classic styles. We just got it right there, and we got the left-hand cowbell right there. And it's the marksman beaters, but they're felt because there's a little sticky pad with, you know, the things that you put under chairs so they slide easily. They're super adhesive. They'll stick to anything. I've been playing for those for years. They don't wear out. They give you a nice, you know, felt beater sound, but they don't even wear out. Like, I've been using them for a few years. I've, you know, even went through a couple heads already, and you know, they're still flawless. And what did it cost? Like $2 for like a few sheets of that? Like, I could literally do probably 36, maybe up to 40 beaters with that, with $2. And the marksman beaters were just like the perfect weight for me. And let's just quickly go through everything. So we got the HHX Stage Ride Dave Weckl. We got some A Zildjian vintage hi-hat, whatever this is. This is an A custom 18-inch. Oh, this is 20, 14. We got a thin crash 16-inch, old, pretty, not vintage, but you know, pretty old. Zildjian 18-inch thin crash, medium thin. Here we got the 10-inch hats, some Oriental whatever. Old, Wuhan, when they were still good and didn't have logos and were actually made in China by some random. We got Sabian 14-inch fusion hats, and we got the AA Rock Ride 21-inch. And all the rack, these are all rack toms. They're all mounted by suspension mounts. Suspension mounts for the win, yeah. And you would think I neglected the floor toms, but no. Gary Gogger to the rescue. Look at these floor tom legs. They're on little bouncy little springs. It doesn't hinder the resonance, or it hinders it much less. The difference was absolutely phenomenal in resonance. Little floaty guys, yeah? Everything about this kit is exactly how I want it. And I'm very lucky that I have the space to be able to set it up. And, you know, the time to be able to look through all this Craigslist junk. But I'm very privileged, and like, as privileged as I am, I still have to say it does, you know, it took a bit of work, but this was not difficult to attain for very little money. I'm not gonna say no, like it's a large sum of money, but like considering the buying and trading and like the gathering of free materials, and not only gathering of free materials, but like the profit that's made by selling off the kits. You're getting free hardware, free cymbals, and you're getting paid. So that's cool. And then, you know, I bought the kit. And this kit I bought probably 10 years ago. You know, I didn't set it up like this. It was set up classic styles. Like you can probably see it on my other video. You know, it's just set up like a regular 7-piece. I wasn't using the 12 actually. And I see this video is getting kind of long, so please leave some comments, I suppose. Like, this is my pride and joy at the moment. I think it's very nice, and my goodness, it really satisfies something deep within me. It's just sometimes the right-handed kit, like, it just can't do it. Something about the guitar is just so right-handed. I don't like it. I love playing the guitar. I love how it sounds, but I don't know. Drums will always be my native instrument, always my favorite. Look at this beauty. Magnificence.